ready to start? You did আর এই দিকে এই এবার টিপে দিলে রেডি করবে আমি উপর থেকে
rolled back. Clear? Now the service today will be dispensing will be four different styles of services that we'll be doing today. We'll be starting with we'll start with asparagus, or rather we'll have the asparagus to the towards end. I will start with snail, service of snail, then followed by oyster, caviar, and towards end we'll do the service of asparagus. Snail comes from mollusks family, right? Seafood, in case you have studied, it comes from mollusk family. The snail which is served in general in a 5-star hotel, 6 pieces per person. How many pieces? 6 pieces per person. Which means if there are 2 people, you'll serve how many pieces? 12 pieces you'll serve together. Those snails are larger in size, comparatively lighter in color. They are more towards brownier side. I'm afraid people are not listening. I think if you will, all these details are there in the book. Small notes that you can make it, but please do not forget to listen to me what we are discussing here. Clear? So as I was talking about the snail, what we are using today is your freshwater snails, locally available. They are smaller in size, darker in color, but the snails which are used in general for service, they are lighter brown in color. Clear? And they are mollusks, they are not crustaceans. They are not. This is the biggest mistake students do. Alright? Now, before we serve these snails, now these snails are processed. Now snails are emptied. They take a scooper or snail fork, they scoop out the flesh from the snails, then fill up with garlic. Usko nicely they clean it, they wash it in fresh water, they clean it, then stuff it back into these shells, fill it up with garlic butter, and then they bake it or grill it, okay, with the mouth up. So it will have a snail which is cooked inside the shell with the garlic butter. Okay? Same way it is placed in snail dish. ये जो एक खास तरह का plate, steel plate you see, that is a snail dish. It has got 6 indents, which means per person how many snails that we saw? 6. Clear? Accompaniment for this is brown bread and butter. That is to with the crust removed. Nicely crisp toasted bread and with the butter you can. Book says butter. Book does not differentiate whether it is a flavored butter or any other butter. So for today's training session, we are using a plain butter. There is a big difference between fat spread and butter. Clear? So ever if you have to serve, use a fresh butter, not fat spread. Clear? What is the difference between fat spread and butter? My students from the kitchen. It's not palm oil. It's not palm oil. Yes? Sure.
It's edible palm oil. That's
not really, but it's an equal proportion of vegetable oil. Or vegetable oil can be substituted with palm oil, but largely it's vegetable oil and butter. They mix it together. It has a greater proportion of vegetable oil. That is why it is cheaper. Clear? Now for the service, what we have done, before we start with the service of snail, the guests are seated. They are often with a napkin, water is being served. Now before we serve the snail, we need to bring the bread basket, right? So we need a salver. Now for the snail service, first we need to modify the cover. The snail cannot be eaten with these knife and fork. Clear? So what we'll do, we'll bring the bread and then we'll modify the cover. How are we going to modify the cover? Correct? मेरे कपड़े में ऊपर वाला फिलिंग है उसमें स्लाइड ठीक है उनका This is what you see is called snail fork. Clear? This is what is called Snail fork. How do you identify snail fork? It has got how many prongs? These are called prongs. Any cutlery, if you are handling it, you need to be very careful and conscious. It to be carried from the bottommost part as low as possible. Clear? This part is never to be touched with bare hands. Clear? Now, as I was talking about, if you have to identify a snail fork, how you identify it? It has got how many prongs? Two and narrow prongs, if you can notice. Now, it helps the guest in scooping out these flesh from the shell. And we also need a snail tongue. What do we need? Snail tongue. Now, the snail tongue goes towards the left-hand side of the guest. Clear? Now, the book says to keep it towards right-hand side. So which means you hold the snail with the right hand in snail tongue and you scoop it with the left hand and have it. It looks a little weird, clear? Because the left hand traditionally is not used for eating. So if we talk about the right manner or right way of serving a snail, I always recommend to have the snail tongue to the left hand side and the snail fork to the right hand side, clear? So before we start the service, we'll do a cutlery modification. So I'll carry the cutleries. So I'll carry the bread basket and the snail fork and tongue. Go to the table. Now the bread basket ideally to be kept beside the butter dish. So I'll keep it there. Again, when I'm serving, my left hand goes to the back. It never comes towards the guest area. But same time, it should not be so wide that it goes hitting some. Clear? And I'll open the bread basket for the guest. Right? Since the dinner knife and dinner fork is of no use for the guest, I'll remove it, place the snail fork. Since we do not have snail tongue, I would have guests using their hand for holding the snail. Now since they are using their hand for holding the snail, we need to provide them with a finger bowl. Now if they use finger bowl, and they use their only napkin for drying up their hands, napkin will turn wet. So we need to have 2 spare napkins. Clear? So with finger bowl, we'll bring the spare napkin, we'll offer it to the guest. Alright? The fork is of no use, so I'll remove it again. Same with the other guest. Remove the knife and the fork as well. Clear? Any confusion so far? It goes back. Now I will bring snail. Which one is snail? This one or this one? Alright, so how we have made it? We've got a dinner plate with a book fork, closed book fork, a deep plate with a snail dish. Since it's a hot, we are not using ice bag. But if it is, it is also eaten raw. So in that case, we would have filled it with crushed ice. So we'll carry snail. Yeah? Who do you think to be served first? To the lady, right? So we use snail, ma'am, with fresh garlic butter. Serving you snail for some. Bon appetit. Clear? Easy? Any confusion? No, sir. So what you serve, you must announce it to the guest. Any confusion? No, sir. Good. How did we? What did we serve? Snail. And it's what? It's a fish. It is a crustacean. It is a mollusk. And it is a freshwater or seawater. So the one we are serving is a freshwater, but In hotel, if you order, you'll be served? Yes, salted water. Clear? And they are, how do you identify them? They are bigger in size. And what is the color? Brown color. Clear? Now since they do not have a snail tongue, which they are supposed to hold the snail there and scoop it out with a fork and have, here they have to use their fingers. Clear? Yes. Why are we using? Why are we using two plates? Now just see this. Remove the dinner plate, hold it in your hand. Which one looks better? You have the answer. Right? Moreover, it gives you good grip. Now, when you are holding this plate, you do not want the presentation of this plate to get spoiled. So that's why you need something as a underline. Yes, any other question?
You said we don't put a tongue on the right hand side.
The book says to have the tongue to right and snail fork to the left. Now, how many of you think that you will be convenient in scooping out the meat from the shell using your left hand?
But why we keep knife on the right hand side?
Knife? There is no knife.
Generally.
Wait, which knife are you talking?
Every knife we keep in the right hand.
In general, if we do a haragatli or a tabli, we have knife to the right. Which hand do you think you are more comfortable with? Let's say why we have knife on the table? To cut. Knife is to cut, isn't it? Let's say if you want a piece of meat, rack of lamb, or a steak, which requires, especially when you are having something which is rare or oblong, Europeans generally like they have it. So in that case, do you think you can cut up meat which is almost oblong using your left hand? For more precision, the knife is kept to the right hand. You can impart pressure, you can cut precisely. Understood? Since the knife was not needed here, I removed it. In European restaurant, if you land up somewhere in England, let's say, and you are working in a fine dining restaurant, you might have, while serving oyster, I'll talk about this, they will give you a whole shell oyster. They will not open it for you. And they will provide you an oyster shucker, a spare napkin, and an oyster holder. So you have to open the oyster shells yourself. Right? I think we are done with this? Yes. Should we remove this? Yes. Alright. Which side did we serve it from? Right. Why did we serve it from right hand side? Because it's a pre-plated service. So which side will clear it from? Right hand side. Clear. And who do you think we should clear first? Good. Now? Love you, sir. How's your snail, sir? Hope you enjoyed it. Now, anything which is not needed for the service of oyster will be moved from here. Yeah? I'll take the bread again. Yeah, my oyster will be a bread. Let it be. तो oyster के लिए bread इसको. We'll use the same bread. I'll remove the snail fork. Oyster is also from the family of mollusk, salted water, but it comes with a closed set. Unlike snails, it is little tricky to open an oyster. Okay? The people who were there in kitchen, they were almost struggling. They had no idea how to open the oysters. Snail comparatively, snail also has a locking system. So snail, when it is threatened, the fleshy part, the body goes inside and it locks the cell. So you'll find something very hard on mouth, kind of a door to protect itself. But in case of oyster, it closes. Once it closes itself, once it locks itself, it is very difficult to open the shells. Right? So what is the way to do it? Many restaurants, you'll find they will serve you the whole oyster. And it is served two ways, like snail is served two ways, cooked, fresh. Oyster is also served two ways. cooked fresh. If it is cooked, the moment you poach it or you grill it, the cells pops up, khul jata hai. Alright, the suction ends and the shell opens. So it is much easier to remove the outer shell. But in case it is a fresh shell, fresh oyster, it becomes a little tricky to open it. So what is the right way is to clean up the sides first. Use a sharp knife or a oyster shucker, clean up the sides. Then use the oyster sucker carefully to the side. Find a place where you can comfortably insert the oyster sucker in. Just remind me once, I'll show you oyster sucker. You move it inside, roll it to the halfway back, then twist it. Now that will help in opening the shell. Dhyan rakhna, either of the shell you need to serve the oyster and should be clean. Should be clean, should be unbroken. Clear? Now this material, what you see, once I'll bring it to the table, you'll see the shell, the silverish material is called mother of pearl. The material what is used for making caviar knife and caviar spoon. Clear? That is called mother of pearl. Many hotels, if you go, they use luxury trays made up of mother of pearl. And they are as pricey as, let's say, 30,000-35,000 rupees one tray. Small tiny tray, 30,000-35,000 rupees. Clear? For the oyster, we'll bring oyster fork. Oyster ke liye we do not need any, we do not need any tongue. It is eaten with the hand. Haath se khate. But again, if they are eaten with the hand, we need to provide finger bowl and spare napkin. Finger bowl and so we'll bring after they are through, after the clearance. What I'll do, I will bring. Let's just leave this episode. The guest wants. Right. I have to borrow your rose petals. Right. So it's lukewarm water. Do you remember? We discussed about what is the difference between lukewarm water and. So you go to the table, you present it to the lady. Don't spoil it. Knead it again. So it is a lukewarm water with rose essence, slice of lime. Rose essence is must. That helps in cutting the lime. Basically helps in cutting the foul smell from your fingers. And rose water helps. It gives a nice fragrance to your hand. You do not want your hand to be smelling of a fish serving you from your bowl. Clear? Once it is done, it has to be cleared again. जैसे हमने clear service किया. Clear? And कैसे हम क्लियर करेंगे? Give me 2 serviettes. Serviettes करना. Serviette. Give me 2 serviettes.
I have.
So before we clear, we'll offer them spare napkin, the plate, to the right hand side of the desk. Allow me, ma'am. The finger bowl service, I'm showing it only for once. I'm not going to repeat it in case of oyster and rolls. Okay. view, sir? Allow me. Right? Now let's say gas is done. Let's go back. Clear it again. Same thing. Just we not of the gentleman, the lady first, and solver always to be back. Clear?
Yes.
And let's say guess if in case they need spare cutlery, it has to be brought like this on a BMB plate or an underliner with a double book fold or a closed book fold with the cutlery. The next service that we will be doing of the oyster ke liye we need oyster forks. The oyster forks are, now if you see, it's a different one, little different. It has got how many prongs? Three prongs. This is not the real oyster fork. The real oyster fork has a round head. Clear? So this is slightly narrow and it is little broader than this, broader and longer than this. So we'll provide the oyster fork to the right hand side. मैंने पहले भी बोला, oyster can be eaten with the hand, but since we are doing it in a fine dining restaurant, we'll give the choice to the guests whether they want to have it with the fork or a spoon. Then we'll bring the oyster cruet, which is very important. Clear? Oyster cruet includes, before we serve the oyster, we need to bring the oyster cruet. The cruet comes first, followed by the oyster. ध्यान रखना, ऐसा नहीं कि oyster service कर दिया और उसके बाद we are bringing the cruet. The cruet will come first, then come the oyster. Oyster cruets include क्या क्या होता है उसके अंदर में? Chili vinegar, क्या क्या होता है और? नहीं, chili vinegar के अलावा और क्या होता है? Chili vinegar के अलावा क्या होता है? Canny paper, क्या होता है? Canny paper, chili vinegar. I want everyone to repeat after me. Chili vinegar, canny paper, peppermill, and Tabasco. Chili vinegar, canny paper, peppermill, and Tabasco. फिर से chili vinegar, canny paper, peppermill, and Tabasco. The chili vinegar, it's simple solution. Vinegar with chili, you slit long, the diagonal, you slice the chilies and put it in the vinegar. With the underliner it comes. Then canny paper is a mildly spiced pepper. Clear? Guys, everyone. The name of this pepper comes from a island city called Kenny. Right? If you have heard of Guyana, French Guyana island, it's basically part of the Guyana, but it is owned by France, South America की तरफ में. Now that island has a city called Kenny. This possibly names Kenny का मतलब होता है capsicum. So this is a peppery flavor, dominating bell pepper जैसा flavor होता है, हल्का सा spicy होता है. So it is used with a peppermill. Peppermill has got black peppercorn. See, we got the black one, you see that? So that is the black peppermill. It comes with the underliner and a doily paper. Since we don't have doily paper, we are using just the underliner for peppermill. And Tabasco. Tabasco is a proprietary sauce. Any sauce which is commercially available, it is made by a company under their brand name and it is sold. It is called proprietary sauce. It is a very spicy sauce. Patla hota hai, but very spicy. Clear? There is a company called McKinley which makes it. Clear? India mein Dabur has started making a variant of Tabasco, but that is not real Tabasco. Clear? It's very spicy. Clear? And since bread is already there, I'll just bring the condiments and then we'll bring the oyster. क्या क्या condiments हमने discuss किया था? We do not have curry paper and Tabasco here. Just keep this in notice. Okay, we are doing it without curry paper and Tabasco. So you got chili vinegar and then your peppermint. Alright? There comes the oyster with lemon wedge. Who do you think to be served first? Lady. Why lady? Why lady? Serving the oyster now with lemon wedge. If you see this silverish material in the plate, that is what is called as mother of pearl. Serving your oyster, sir, with the lemon wedge. Please enjoy your meal. Now what they will do, they will use this spoon, take out a little amount of chili vinegar, they will put in this, dashes of chili vinegar, just dashes of. Little curry paper, little pepper, if in case they prefer peppery flavor, they will roll their head, little over it, lime juice, and they will just slurp it. If it is raw, clear? And if they want to do it, if they are doing it with a finger, we have to give with spare napkin. But if they want to do it with the hand, they just have to scoop out on the using the oyster fork and then have it. But after adding the curry paper, chili vinegar and Tabasco, a little. Clear? There are people, you'll find, this is how it is eaten. But you'll see, there are people, they will pick up the piece of bread, उसके ऊपर में डाल देंगे the flesh of the oyster, the condiments, and then they will have it with the slice of the bread. They will make it like a canopy and then have it for themselves. Clear? समझ में आ गया? Alright. Since they are done, we'll clear it. Again, किसका? Lady. उसके बाद which side will clear it from? Right hand side. No, it's not because it is pre-plated. Because if you are doing it from the left hand side, just imagine, if I do it from the left hand side, I am going into the gas area. Food, hot, cold, gas. See the proximity. But if I do the same thing from the right hand side, between the guest and the food, it's me who is standing. Clear? So guest will be more comfortable. Dhyan rakhna. You do not have to hit the glass of the guest or the cutlery. In case it's a teenage menu and you got layover of cutleries both the sides, you need to be very conscious that you are not disturbing them. So what is the way? I'm sliding my hand in, just slide your hand in, hold the plate, pick it up, then switch your hands. Clear? Alright? Did we notice ये हमने कैसे सर्विस किया है? Got underliner with a closed book fold, then a deep plate with bed क्या है? What is the bed? Crust ice. Crust ice. Now ये crust नहीं है, broken ice नहीं है. मैंने बोला था crust करने के लिए बनाई से crust ice. मतलब you have to churn it. You have to churn it in mixing. Clear? So it should be soft in consistency. It should not have a larger pieces of ice cubes. What happens is it makes your it makes your oysters unstable. Clear? When my students were trying to fix it, they were really struggling it. Similarly, allow me sir. Oyster, clear as a pork, snail. What is the similarity between these two? Both are from and clear, समझ में आ गया? And what is the accompaniment that we offer it with? Snail, brown bread and butter, and garlic butter. Clear? And lemon, lemon भी जाता है. Lemon भी जाता है. And for oyster, what is the accompaniment? Brown bread and butter with crust removed. ध्यान रखना. If you say brown bread and butter, you have to mention crust removed. Brown bread and butter, and then उसके अलावा chili vinegar, curry paper, peppermint, Tabasco. याद रखने का फॉर्मूला है CCPT. CCPT. You'll never forget. C से chili vinegar, C से curry paper, P से peppermint, P से Tabasco. CCPT. Clear? And after you have removed the plate, there will be a salver clearance on the table. Clear? ध्यान रखना. First plate clearance in hand and then salver clearance. The salver clearance remove all the condiments and breads, what is not needed. Now my salver is comparatively the size of my student's brain, so I have to put it down. बड़ा salver ये लोग लाए नहीं है, तो चलेगा नहीं. Alright? Clear? Bread again मैं यहीं पे छोड़ दे रहा हूँ. नहीं, I'll be doing caviar, so I have to remove this. Hello, sir. The next service that we'll be doing is of the showstopper of the day. Yes, this caviar. Now for the caviar, before we start with this episode, folks, which I'm growing old. Pass me the poster. So this you have to do it while you're doing the salver clearance. Alright, before we start the service of oyster caviar, let's try to understand how many of you know caviar, what exactly it is. It's an egg of sturgeon. First, it is never called egg. Egg is not the right term. You cannot afford to call it. Okay, it's an egg of sturgeon fish. Clear? Yes, sturgeon is a variety of fish. Now, what variety of what variety of fish? There is a particular family of fish which is called Acipen sardini. Clear? Acipen sardini. Now, this particular fish family, where the sturgeon belongs to, it has got 28 cousin sisters, brothers, whatever you call it. So, in their family, this particular family has got how many members? 28. So, technically, all these are sturgeon fishes. If you say beluga, it is a sturgeon fish. If you say sevruga, it is a sturgeon fish. If you say ossetra, it is a sturgeon fish. Even if you say whitefish, it is a sturgeon fish. If you say lugfish, that is a sturgeon fish. If you say carp, that is also a sturgeon fish. They all are sturgeon fishes, which means their roux can be technically called as caviar. Clear? Now, how many of you like mangoes? We did mango festival yesterday. How many of you like mangoes? Everybody? Yes, better raise your hand. Alright. Like mango, there are different varieties of mango based on their taste, based on the sweetness level, based on their other features. They are rated. They are highly rated. In mango, we call it Lamda as the king of all mangoes, isn't it? Similarly, the fish, we call it Ilish as the king of fish. Why? Because of its flavor profile, because of their rarity. Clear? Similarly, out of all these caviars, I got students who are not listening to me. I would request them to walk out of the class. If you are here, please attend. Arithro, go wash your face and come. Wash your face and come. I know you're not listening. You're making me sleep. Go wash your face and come. And if you want, you can take a break. No issues. Where were we, Karan? So there are 28 varieties of sturgeon fish which can be taken, the roux of those can be technically called as caviar. उसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? We can call it roux or caviar. Clear? The roux is referred as a caviar. But out of all these caviars, there are some which are prominent. When you say these caviars, people look at, oh, it's a delicacy. It's something premium. Let's say if you talk about beluga, I will introduce them in a sequence. Okay? Sevruga caviar, out of all the caviars, are considered as the third prominent variety of caviar. Third, not first, third. It is third in rank. So mostly you will see Sevruga caviar coming in a white tin, silverish tin होता है, silver का बना हुआ tin material होता है, and ऊपर it has a mostly white label. So this is, by looking at the caviar on the shelf, you can identify, oh, this is Sevruga caviar. Must be Sevruga caviar. Silver tin, white label. Clear? The next one is Beluga caviar. Alright? Now it comes in a blue color tin. What kind of tin?
Blue color.
Now each tin has 30 grams of caviar. How much caviar?
30 grams.
How much caviar?
30 grams.
30 grams. Clear? Kitna?
30 grams.
The last variety, the king of the caviar, it's not king of the caviar, the most expensive caviar, which comes from Osetra. It comes in a golden color tin. What color tin?
Golden color.
What color?
Golden.
Mostly they are golden color tin and they are very pricey. 1 kg of Osetra caviar might cost you 45 lakhs rupees. 45 lakhs. If it's a premium Osetra caviar, it will cost you 40-45 lakhs in Indian rupees. Okay? If it's a Beluga caviar, it might cost you in between 50 lakhs to 22-23 lakhs. A kg I'm talking about. So which means 10 grams will be in between 15,000 rupees to 23,000 rupees for Beluga. For Osetra, it will be somewhere around 45,000 rupees per 30 grams. Clear? Then comes your Sevruga will be comparatively in between 10 to 20,000 rupees, much lesser than that. Okay. Other than that, these fish caviars, there are other fishes, their roes are also considered as caviar. Okay. For example, salmon, the most commonly available caviar. It looks slightly orangish with reddish tint. It is called ikura. It is called
Ikura.
Ikura. I-K-U-R-A. It is called
Ikura.
salmon caviar roe is called
Ikura.
Yeah, salmon caviar is called
Ikura.
Ikura. It is called
Ikura.
Ikura. क्या बोलते हैं?
Ikura.
Most of these hotels, see the demand for caviar in Indian menu is limited. Out of 100 restaurants, possibly you'll find couple of restaurants, 2 or 3 or largely 5 restaurants which sells caviar. And mostly you'll find them using lungfish caviar, which looks like a Beluga caviar, but it's not really a Beluga caviar. By tasting, you can understand. So this is about what is caviar. Now let's try to understand where it comes from. It comes from sturgeon fish. Now where do we find these sturgeon fishes? These sturgeon fishes are largely found in Black Sea and Caspian Sea. Black Sea
Caspian Sea.
and Caspian Sea. Black Sea and Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea is called as it's world's largest inland sea. मतलब जमीन के अंदर बना हुआ sea जब अगर आप देखोगे ना, so जो periphery होती है वो generally it is greater but smaller than oceans. But Caspian Sea in comparison to other sea, inland मतलब चारों तरफ से जमीन से घिरा हुआ. So inland sea में Caspian is the largest sea. Clear? Largest sea inland बात कर रहा है, जो land से चारों तरफ से घिरी हुई है. The country which dominates the caviar market, that is why जो countries इसके बाई साइड है, कजाकिस्तान है, रशिया है, ईरान है, and अफगानिस्तान है. अफगानिस्तान का बहुत कम पार्ट है, ना के नहीं अफगानिस्तान नहीं है, sorry, these countries, Russia, Kazakhstan and Iran. But the terrain of Kazakhstan is largely hilly. Just imagine kind of Himalaya kind of region. Okay, so that makes it difficult for the people to access the Caspian Sea. That is the reason Russia and Iran are 2 countries which dominates the caviar market. The maximum supplies comes from these countries. Clear? Any confusion so far?
No, sir.
Should we start with the service?
Yes, sir.
Before we start with the service of the caviar, we need to understand how it is served. For the caviar service, we need cold fish plates. Empty plates. So we'll offer them plates. And as far as the cutleries are concerned, since हमारे पास only one set caviar के knife and spoon है, we'll do it only to the one guest, and other will presume that not having the caviar, does not like caviar, right? So our gentleman has denied having caviar. Only the ladies trying with the caviar. ठीक है? So सबसे पहले we'll bring the cutleries. The caviar knife and fork are made up of mother of pearl. This material, if you see, can you see this material?
Yes, sir.
Now this material is, this is a mother of pearl. How you can identify mother of pearl? By dropping it. It will break. So remember, but don't do it. It's very expensive. One single piece of caviar spoon will cost you in between 12,000 to 20,000 rupees. One single piece. If it's actually original mother of pearl. Clear? One single piece spoon or fork is going to cost you nothing between 50 to 20,000 rupees. And if it's original, you can drop it and check. Clear? This will not break. This is. And let me explain it to you, since it is going in recording, I have to explain it to you. Metal knives, since we were unable to find the caviar knife, we are using metal knives. Metal knives technically to be avoided for using caviar. This is for spreading the caviar. This is a typical different kind of knife. If you see, it has a blade which is slightly bent towards the back. Clear? This knife. Now it gives you ease to spread the caviar. But metal should be avoided, especially the EPNS metal. Now if you can smell it, it has a metallic smell, and glue is highly sensitive to any kind of smell, any kind of smell. Even the smell of this metal it cannot absorb, right? So that is why the metal is to be avoided. Only for the sake of training, we are using this knife as a substitute for caviar knife. As I said, caviar knife is largely made from mother of pearl. In case you are not being able to find a caviar knife of mother of pearl material, you can use EPNS, electroplated nickel silver. Clear? Since we are only doing it for the lady, nothing. Caviar knife preceding by caviar spoon. Clear? We'll do it only with caviar knife for the guest. Guest is good with the fingers. Alright. Now before the caviar comes, we will provide with the accompaniment. Caviar accompaniments are bleeny. Bleenish नहीं होता बेटा. That is called bleeny. क्या बोलते हैं? Bleeny. Bleeny. Alright, what is the accompaniment for caviar? Bleeny. Bleeny. We write B-L-I-N-I-S. We write bleenness, B-I-L-I-N-I-S. We write bleenish, but we pronounce bleeny. It's a Russian pancake. It is the size of macaroons. You've seen macaroons?
Yes.
Seen macaroons?
Yes.
What you made it, it is much broader than that and बहुत पतला है. It is slightly thick, right? It's this thick. If in case you've seen macaroons, बिल्कुल उसी तरह होता है, उतना ही मोटा होता है. Clear? So it's thick and the size of macaroons. Clear? Now this is made from a flour called buckwheat. Bleeny is made from buckwheat flour. Now Indian market, it is called kuttu atta. It is available in India. Largely it comes from wheat. It is not made from the grains. So it is edible during fasting. Clear? Now the bleeny, the pancake is made slightly thick, the size of the macarons, exactly same size, same thickness. It comes in a bread basket, but butter goes by side without any confusion. And the caviar accompaniments includes chopped shallots. Chop, 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 shallots. Shallots are from the same family as spring onion. Clear? So it's three cousin brothers, you can understand. Spring onion, scallion and shallots. The difference is, mostly people are confused with spring onion and shallots being the same. They are not the same. Shallots, if you over saute in butter, it turns bitter. Clear? So we are using chopped shallots as an accompaniment along with sieved hard-boiled egg white. So you boil egg, separate the egg white and egg yolk, hard-boiled egg. Use a sieve. Sieve you see for filtering the unwanted material, foreign objects we use it. And you pass the egg white through the sieve. That is why it is called sieved egg white. It should not have lump. It never to be chopped or never to be grated. Clear? Similarly, egg yolk is also sieved. Hard-boiled egg yolk, sieved, passed through the sieve. It is called hard-boiled egg white, sieved egg white, hard-boiled sieved egg yolk. Lemon wedge. It goes lemon wedge. It has to be tied in a podlum. Muslin cloth, cut into small pieces. Lemon cut length widthwise from the belly. Okay. The seeds, if you can remove nothing like it, place it in between the muslin cloth and tie it into a podlum. Clear? So that the guest can squeeze the lime juice without any hassle. So we'll bring the, before we bring the accompaniments, we have to carry the plates. 2 cold fish plates. Then we bring the accompaniments. Right. So we got leany pancake and the accompaniments for caviar. So we need leany, Russian pottery pancake, and these accompaniments will go to the side. Please do not be mistaken with this is hard-boiled egg white, hard-boiled egg yolk. As I said, we are using chopped onion instead shallots. Remember, it's not never, onion is never used. There it is, chopped shallots. So please, shallots, how can you differentiate onions and shallots? My student in kitchen, they are over smart, they know that people will not be able to understand it, whatever we do. The shallots are always white in color, you will not see the red part. There, it's always white. Right? So by looking at that, you can make out whether it is onion or shallots. The guest who orders to eat caviar, remember, he knows what is what. So we cannot fool around with the guest. Right? If you do not have shallots, tell them these are instant shallots, we are using spring onion or we are using onions. Hope it is okay to you. Clear? Never ever lie to your guests. They are well traveled people, they have access to information and they know what is what. Alright? Now I have to bring the showstopper ingredient of today, which is a creation of our dear student Karan. That is the caviar. We are using mudfish caviar. Ice has turned into water. Clear? Now, how the guest is supposed to be eating caviar? Now, caviar, do we know how caviar is cooked? What truly is done to the caviar? Whether it's poached, baked, grilled, pan fried?
Raw. It's raw.
Alright. You're the only students who are possibly exposed to this kind of learning. caviar is not cooked, it is cured, it is salt cured. It is pasteurized. Pasteurized matlab, the caviar after processing, it is heated in a way that less than 100 degrees centigrade, always remember. Clear? It is somewhere around 70-75 degrees centigrade to kill the kill unwanted kill any form of pathogens and microbes which might be harmful. Alright? Then it is cured with salt, put it in tins and sold in market. Clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
It is not cooked. Now eating caviar is also an art. So you have to pick up the blini, right? If you prefer butter, you can butter it, but most of the Europeans, they avoid butter. So they take a spoonful of caviar, they will take it out from the container. The tin itself is soft. Since we haven't had supreme bowl with us, for the service of caviar, we need a supreme bowl filled with crushed ice with an underliner and dolly paper, and the tin is fitted on top. Clear? Since we haven't had the supreme bowl with us, we are using soup bowl with crushed ice, and instead the tin we are using, since we bought it 100 grams, we are using in loose containers. Right? Now to eat, the one has to pick up the caviar on a spoon, put it on blini, spread it with knife, caviar knife, then add egg white, add yolk, little lime juice, shallots, and then you have it with the hand. If you are using hand, in that case again we have to give finger bowl and spare knife. Clear? Asan hai? Any confusion? Did we learn caviar?
Yes, sir.
So if you are to be asked to explain about the caviar, you should be able to?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now we'll do the clearance here. Again, since the caviar is in a small container, we have to use a salvo. Plate we give it to the guests so that guests can use a platform where they can rest their toppings and breads. I will clear as much as possible so that the next round will be smoother. And lastly, we will be serving asparagus. Just clear the table. With hand or with the knife and fork. If they are using knife and fork, well and good. If they are using their hand, we have to give Pale finger bowl and a spare napkin. Good. Asparagus can be served in a different style. So it can be served hot. It also can be served cold. So if it is served cold, it is fresh. Yes, it is uncooked. Clear? Or it can be grilled. Clear? So they grill it. They generally do it in pan. Pan grilling they do it, or pan searing they do. Or it also can be done in hot. It also can be boiled or poached. Clear? Blanched rather, with crunch has to be there. Alright, sir. Before we start, we'll bring the cutlery for the table. What cutlery we said? Alright, so we've got dinner knife, dinner fork, and towards the right hand side of the gas I'm keeping a fork upturned. For the lady, same thing, upturned fork. In today's time, if you go to the hotel, you'll find they serve asparagus in a plate which is, it's more like a platter than a plate. It's a long stuff plate, something like this, right? Something like this. Even sleeker than this. Even sleeker than this. Patla lamba hota hai. So it becomes much easier to serve in it. But since I'm supposed to be teaching you the classical way, I have to go at the classical side. Now why upturned knife and fork I have to place it so that it gives a tilt to the plate. It creates a slope with the plate. So when you pour the sauce, it will remain with the bud part of the asparagus. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion so far?
No, sir.
Now we are supposed to be bringing the bread. Butter is already there on the table. And asparagus का accompaniment जो होता है वो होता है हमारा hollandaise sauce. If we are serving hot, we use hollandaise sauce or melted butter. If we are serving hot asparagus, the accompaniment is hollandaise होता है. Hollandaise sauce or melted butter. If we are serving hot asparagus, we are supposed to serve that hollandaise sauce or melted butter. Clear? But if we are serving cold, we can use a cold sauce. What is the cold sauce? Mayonnaise or vinaigrette. Mayonnaise or vinaigrette. Before we bring in asparagus, the breads for the guest. Here we are using the slices of baguette. We do not have asparagus tongue. Remember, it is little trickier to serve the asparagus with the service gate. So asparagus has a particular tongue. You can see whenever you type, you can refer it in book. You'll find the images of asparagus tongue. So it has a tongue with long handles, long indente handles. So it gives a nice grip in holding the asparagus. Clear? But if you do it with this service gear, only God can help you. Clear? So please, which one is fresh? I'm doing it with the hot asparagus. This is not hot at all, but this is how we are supposed to hold it. Clear? ऐसे पकड़ना चाहिए हमें. किसको सर्व पहले करेंगे? Lady को या lady? So we'll serve the asparagus. Now to serve the asparagus, can you see it in screen?
Yes,
The
sir.
asparagus is towards the right hand side of the guest. So I'll serve 2 pieces asparagus per guest. Serving asparagus now. And
Sir, it's platter to plate, but why did you serve from the right?
I did not get.
So he's saying that since you are doing it platter to plate, then why are you serving the food from the right side?
If you see this table, do you see any other table around? Clear? If I do it from this side, clear? So many questions come. Why we have these principles that you do it from right hand side or left hand side? Why these principles? Because in the restaurant, the layouts are done like that. But since we are doing it in an area which is open, there is no other table. The entire hall is empty for me. So if I'm doing it from here, do you think I'm disturbing the guest? Let's say if I do a pre-plated service from here, do you think I'm disturbing the guest? Right? If I do it from here, for him I'm doing it from right side, but for her, it is all logical. Just try to understand, son, there is a wall here. There is a wall here. Can you go there and serve? What would you do? Understood? Now we will bring the sauce. There is one very common mistake, guys. Never ever put spoon inside any condiment. इसका मतलब हुआ कि it has been used. अगर आपका स्पून गंदा है मतलब somebody has used it, isn't it? अगर आपका स्पून फ्रेश है मतलब it is fresh. So never ever do that. So since we presume that we are doing it for hot asparagus, we'll serve mayo. We want the option between mayo and garlic butter. So एक गेस्ट को हम लोग मेयो देंगे और एक को गार्लिक बटर देंगे. So ये जो हमारा गार्लिक ये मेयो हॉलैंडेज है, ये थोड़ा ठंडे में रखा होता है ना, थोड़ा सा जम गया. हॉलैंडेज इज eaten slightly warm, okay? और warm होने की वजह से क्या होता है ना, slightly runny होता है. It's not runny, ध्यान रखना, but it's softer in consistency. It's not as frozen. If you see this, can you see this? This is almost frozen. Yeah, it should not be like this. So one, what I'll do, I'll serve it with hollandaise, other one I'll serve it with melted butter, so that you have an idea. So I'll bring it here onto the table and I'll serve it over the head. Okay? Since I'm doing it with two different options, I'm carrying it in a salver. Or if you are doing it pre-plated, you just have to bring it, place it on the table, and you can give each guest with the sauce of their choice. Clear? Okay? Now this extra sauce you can leave it on the table for the guests to help themselves. Okay? Other one, ये अगेन बटर भी हमारा जम गया है. अच्छा कौन बताएगा हमने ये क्यों रखा था ऐसे? Why we kept it with the upturned fork?
So it will stay on the butt of the table, sir.
The sauce remains towards the sloppy side and in contact with the asparagus. Clear? Extra sauce, you can leave it on the table for the guests to enjoy themselves. Same way, if it has been a fresh asparagus, we'll use the vinaigrette and we'll pour it over that. Clear? So this concludes the session today. What have we learned today? Oyster. How do we serve oyster? How do we serve? When I say how do we serve, you have to talk about which plate it will come, what is going to be there in the plate, what is going to be the accompaniment, what is going to be the side order. See, you need to understand there is a difference between side order and an accompaniment. How many kitchen students? Do we know the difference between side order and accompaniment? The difference? The side order also can be an accompaniment, but they together make a dish a complete meal. Remember always, accompaniment is anything which gives, which adds value to the central ingredient. Anything. It could largely you'll find accompaniment including sauces and dressings, pepper, right, or even bread and butter sometimes. Side orders you'll find things like something made with potatoes. Parsley potato could be roasty, it could be mashed potato, it could be sauteed vegetable. So these are side orders. These are side orders. And the accompaniments are something which adds value to the main ingredient. Clear? So when I say how do we serve it, we have to talk about which plate do we use, what accompaniments we use, what layout we use. This is what we are supposed to explain. Clear? Alright, so who is going to explain the service of oyster? Service of oyster, how do we do it? How do we serve?
So first we use little bit, then we use book fold, then upper that snail fold, and
There is nothing called snail. Oyster की बात करो.
oyster fold.
Deep plate, soup plate, or pasta plate. Even say pasta plate again of different designs. There is something which is deep from inside, which gives easy holding to the crust ice. Can be used. So we use our underliner with a closed book fold and a deep plate, soup plate, clear? Filled with crust ice. And the oyster will be laid over the bed of crust ice with a lemon wedge. Clear? What cutlery do we need for oyster? Just the oyster fork. Just the oyster fork. Where? Left, right. Right, remember. Clear? The guest has the option to have the oyster with hand or using the fork. What is the accompaniment that we are supposed to offer it with oyster? Canny paper, chili vinegar, canny paper or can paper, peppermint and Tabasco. Good. How do we serve and what bread are we supposed to offer? Brown bread, crust removed, toasted brown bread with crust trimmed and butter. Clear? How do we serve snail? On a dinner plate, closed book fold, on a deep plate with a snail dish. How many snails per portion? 6. 6 per portion. And how it is served? It comes with? It could be raw or it could be grilled with garlic butter. If it's a fresh, it will go with lime. If it's a cooked, it will go with garlic butter, with extra garlic butter by side. Clear?
Yes, sir.
What cutlery are we supposed to use for snail? Snail fork. How do you identify snail fork? 2 prongs. Narrow 2 prongs. Deep. It helps in going deep inside the shell and pulling out the flesh. And which side the tongue, which side the fork? Good. Alright, for the service of asparagus, how do we serve it?
So in asparagus we have to
Use a what plate? Cold fish plate or appetizer plate in case आपके पास cold fish plate नहीं होता. In modern days, you will not find cold fish plate. It is generally 7 inches in diameter. So instead, cold fish plate you will use an appetizer plate. There is no harm. All right. Then
appetizer plate we have to place the asparagus.
First we have to put
we have to have a appetizer knife, an appetizer fork, knife to the right, fork to the left. And we have to place a dinner fork upturned towards which side? Right side, left side? Right side of the?
Yes.
Why upturned? It gives a tilt to the plate. So if whatever sauce that you offer, it goes towards the end of the asparagus. Clear? And asparagus कितने तरीके से serve करते हैं? Fresh और cooked में वो pan fry हो सकता है, pan sear हो सकता है और boiled or blanched. Clear? But crunchiness has to be there. Clear? And accompaniment क्या है? When it is fresh, what is the accompaniment? If it's fresh, vinaigrette and mayonnaise. If it's cold, if it's hot, melted butter. Clear? How do we make vinaigrette? कैसे बनाते हैं? How much oil? How much vinegar? 3 part. 3 part? 3 part oil. Which oil? Olive oil, salad oil. ठीक है? 3 part oil, 1 part vinegar. अगर हम यहाँ पे vinegar को replace कर दें with lemon, it will be called lemon dressing. If we remove vinegar and add lemon, it will be called
lemon dressing.
Good. Who amongst the student of 3rd year can tell me the difference between French, American and English vinaigrette difference?
The difference is
French is 3:1.
and English is 2:1.
American is 1:1. ध्यान रखो. Clear? Any confusion यहाँ तक? Good. And caviar, yes. Caviar. What is caviar? It's a roux of sturgeon fish. How many members are there in sturgeon family? 28. और कौन से है? Beluga, B-L-U-G-A, Beluga, Sevruga, C-V-R-U-G-A, Ossetra, O-S-S-E-T-R-A, Ossetra. इसके अलावा lumpfish, then whitefish, then Then carp, C-A-R-P, carp नहीं carp, C-A-R-P, carp. All right. Lumpfish, मैंने बताया तुमने. Salmon बताया. What is the salmon caviar called as? Ikura. Right. How do you identify? What is the proportion of caviars available in the market? Each 10. How would you identify the caviar? Beluga comes in a blue colored egg. Ocetrine, which is, and Sevruga in white. Clear? Which is the most priciest caviar? Yeah, it will cost you around 30-35 lakhs to 40 lakhs, depending on, or it might go even beyond that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so very much for being today, and hope we've been able to make some preparation. Wish you all the best.